Hi, this is James from IELTS United, and we're continuing with our course going through the IELTS 1 to 9 test books. This video is on test book 9, test number 1, listening, section 3. If you want to watch the previous section, listening section 2, click here. If you want to watch the final section, listening section 4, click here. Let's get started. So as always, this is a new test for me. I haven't heard the audio and I haven't done this test before. So we'll go through together and I will explain to you the way I'm thinking about the test. Let's get started.
Section 3. Two overseas students called Spiros and Hiroko have just finished the first semester of their university course. They are discussing with their English language teacher how they coped with the course. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25.
Okay, we have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. So first thing to notice is that this is choose the correct letter A, B or C, and that means we're just choosing one. So, course feedback. One reason why Spiros felt happy about his marketing presentation was that he was not nervous. Okay, his style was good. The presentation was the best in his group. Okay, so we're listening for words like best, something to tell us that. What surprised Hiroko about the other students' presentations? Their presentations were not interesting, so thinking of synonyms like bored. They found their presentations stressful, so thinking of antonyms like relaxing. They didn't look at the audience enough. Okay, so think about vocabulary related to that, so words like body language, eye contact. After she gave her presentation, Hiroko felt delighted. So, did she feel pleased? Did she feel happy? Dissatisfied? So, was she unhappy? Did she think it was not good enough? Or was she embarrassed? Okay, so thinking again of similar vocabulary. How does Spiros feel about his performance in tutorials? Not very happy? Okay, so unhappy, and we've got a word like dissatisfied, means the same thing. Really pleased or fairly confident? Alright, and finally 25. Why can the other students participate so easily in discussions? They are polite to each other, they agree to take turns in speaking, they know each other well. Okay, so thinking about the dynamics of the group, are they friendly, thinking of words that are similar to polite, and they know each other well, so thinking of words like friends or acquaintances, vocabulary related to that. Okay, let's continue.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Before we start, Spiros and Hiroko, thanks for coming in today to talk about your recent study experiences, and congratulations to you both in doing so well in your first semester exams.
Thank you.
I'd like to discuss with you the value of the English for Academic Purposes course you did here last year before starting your university course. Spiros, if I could start with you, what parts of the program have now proved to be particularly valuable to you?
I think that having to do a seminar presentation really helped me. For example, a couple of weeks ago in our marketing subject, when it was my turn to give a presentation, I felt quite confident. Of course, I was still nervous, but because I had done one before, I knew what to expect. Also, I know I was well prepared, and I had practiced my timing. In fact, I think that in relation to some of the other people in my group, I did quite a good job, because my overall style was quite professional. What about you, Hiroko?
That's interesting. In my group, I was really surprised by the way the students did their presentations. They just read their notes aloud. Can you believe that? They didn't worry about their presentation style or keeping eye contact with their audience. And I remembered that these things were really stressed to us in the course here.
So, how did you approach your presentation, Hiroko?
Well, to speak frankly, I read my notes too. At the time, it was a relief to do it this way, but actually when I had finished, I didn't feel any real sense of satisfaction. I didn't feel positive about the experience at all.
That's a pity. You know, although I was pleased with my presentation, I am not so pleased with my actual performance right now in the tutorials. During the whole semester, I've not said anything in our tutorial discussions. Not a word.
Really, Spiros? Why's that? Do the other students talk too much?
It's partly that, but it's mostly because I have had no confidence to speak out. Their style of speaking is so different. It's not the style we were used to during the course. They use so many colloquialisms. They're not very polite, and sometimes there seems to be no order in their discussion. Also, they are very familiar with each other, so because they know each other's habits, they can let each other into the discussion.
You're right, Spiros. I have experienced that too.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30.
Okay, so let's read through. Question 26. Why is Hiroko feeling more positive now? She finds the other students' opinions more interesting. She is making more of a contribution. The tutor includes her in the discussion. Okay, so again, thinking about things related to interesting, different word forms like interested or interest, synonyms for opinions like views or perspectives. She is making more of a contribution, so think about phrasal verbs that mean to make a contribution, like to get involved, or the tutor includes her in the discussion. So does the tutor ask her questions and so on. 27. To help her understand lectures, Hiroko consulted reference materials. Okay, so think about where she might do that. Maybe she reads books in the library or borrows papers from her friends, so starting to think around the subject. B. Hiroko had extra tutorials with her lecturers. Okay, so did she do extra work? Maybe she's going to talk about how much time that took or the benefits of that. Borrowed lecture notes from other students. So maybe she's going to talk about a friend who lent her something. So we're thinking about words like to lend, which are paired with words like to borrow. Okay, let's continue. So what does Spiros think of his reading skills? He reads faster than he used to. So be careful, because sometimes in the IELTS listening they try to trick you, or it's a bit complicated. So that he might say, for example, that he reads faster than a friend, or he reads slower than he used to. So words or phrases that are related to this answer but are different to this answer. That's one way they try to catch you out. So B, it still takes him a long time to read. Okay, so words like fast and slow. And he tends to struggle with new vocabulary. So we've got the word struggle, so we might think of words like difficult or challenge and see if they come up. 29, what is Hiroko's subject area? Environmental studies. Okay, fair enough. So we might think of other phrases related to environmental, like environment or global pollution, things like that. Health and education, so things related to medicine and the body, or engineering, so things related to mechanics, and maybe she'll say something like she enjoys maths or finds maths difficult. And finally, 30, Hiroko thinks that in the reading classes, the students should learn more vocabulary, okay, so more words, greater lexicon, so thinking of synonyms there, read more in their own subject areas, okay, or develop better reading strategies, so words that might be like technique or methods that are again synonyms, and develop could be like enhance, something like that. Okay, let's continue with the test.
Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
For most of this semester, I've said absolutely nothing in tutorials. But recently, I've been trying to speak up more, and I just jump in. And I've noticed an interesting thing. I've noticed that if they thought my point was interesting or new, then the next time they actually asked for my opinion. And then it was much easier for me to be part of the discussion.
Oh, that's great, Hiroko. I hope that happens for me next semester. I'll have to work hard to find some interesting points. What helped you to find these ideas?
I think that one thing that helped me with this was the reading. I've had to do so much reading this semester just to help me make sense of the lectures. At first, I couldn't understand what the lectures were talking about, so I had to turn to the books and journals. Every night I read for hours, using the lists of references that were given, and I made pages of notes. At breakfast, I read and read my notes again. This habit has helped me to follow the ideas in the lectures, and it's also given me some ideas to use in the tutorials.
But I did so much reading anyway. I don't think there's any time left over for anything extra. My reading speed is still quite slow, though I'm much better at dealing with vocabulary than I used to be.
What else do you think we could add to the course program to help with this reading problem?
There's not really anything because it's my problem. I remember we were given long articles to read. We didn't like that, but now I realize that reading those long articles was good preparation for the things I need to read now. Also, in class, we regularly had speed reading tasks to do, and we kept a record of our reading speed, so the teachers were encouraging us to work on that.
That's true, Spiros, but what we read could have been different. Sometimes in the English class, I felt frustrated when I had to read articles about the environment or health or education, because I wanted to concentrate on my own field, but we didn't read anything about engineering. So I think I wasted some time learning vocabulary I didn't need.
But surely the strategies you were taught for dealing with that vocabulary were helpful?
Yes, but psychologically speaking, I would have felt much better working on reading from my own field. What do you think, Spiros?
Oh, I agree. That would have helped my confidence too, and I would have been more motivated. It was good, though, that we could work on our own topics when we wrote the research assignments.
Okay, let's move on to writing now.
That is the end of section 3.
So that was the end of section 3. So let's take a look at the answers and see how well we did. Okay, so for 21, the answer was B, and here, yes, correct. B, 22. They didn't look at the audience enough, was C. Answer was C. 23, dissatisfied. 23 was dissatisfied, good B. A for 24, A. 25, C. C. 26, B. B. 27, A. And A, good. 28, B. B. 29, C. C, and 30 was B. And because we don't have to write anything, we don't have to worry about how many words we wrote or whether it was exactly the same phrasing. Okay, so a few tricky ones there, but by reading ahead in the way we did and thinking about synonyms, antonyms, and related words and phrases, and also by thinking logically, we were able to understand some of the answers. So I hope that you learned a few useful things there. If you want to see the previous section, that's IELTS Book 9, Test Book 9, Test 1, Section 2, you can click here. Or if you want to see the next section, so that's IELTS 9, Test 1, Section 4, that's the listening part, Section 4, click here. If you want to join our Facebook community, we have lots of help from teachers and high-graded students. So if you want to ask any questions or get some free resources, please join us on facebook.com/groups/IELTS United. Good luck with your IELTS and see you soon.